Look at this on their landing page. It says they have 180 million users, 2 million creators, and they paid out over $5 billion.
Is that what it says? Oh, geez.
Yeah.
Damn.
I'm on start.onlyfans.com.
That's some.
And I just saw that.
That's some big numbers. So what you're saying is we need to get our own OnlyFans account, Matt? Do we need to do that next?
I think we'd be. I wonder what would happen. I don't know. Never used it. Never signed up. But that would be interesting if we just like tease people for a long time. But like one day these shirts are coming off. You know. Keep subscribing, guys.
Yeah. All right. It might be more valuable if we say, you know, that we'll keep the shirts on, and then maybe we'll actually get more subscribers that way. might be more feasible for us in that direction.
Good morning, marketers. Welcome back. Today we got some fun stories for you about how to get money from YouTube. How to get money from
sorry to cut you off like that, Matt, but I have a special public service announcement here.
What is it?
Yeah. Andrew has his mic on this time.
Nice. And we hit record on Riverside properly. So yeah, if you guys listen to the last episode, little sound issues there. We were really happy with the episode. We thought the content was great, but then the sound just crapped out. So we're recording on this application called Riverside.fm, which has a lot of great reviews online. But when you actually get into it, I don't know. I got some beef with Riverside. However, Andrew is recording his side of the audio using Riverside. And hey, why are you not recording locally? What is the technical challenge there?
So the part of the challenges that we have faced, Matt, with this show is that we decided early on to do the multi-camera angle aspect, right? Which, it increases the complexity, it increases the post-production, but we talked about this and we wanted to bring that level of production to this remote show. Because there's not a lot of remote shows out there like this. The kinds of shows that you and I enjoy, they're all in the same room. And let's just face it, they don't have the same technical challenges that we do. So what we've come to realize is that when you're using Riverside, and Matt and I have done a lot of testing, there have been situations where we get these really annoying echoes and it's really hard to co-host a show and talk about relevant information and stay and keep focused when you can hear your own voice repeated back to you over and over again. It's really distracting.
Oh, is that what's happening to you?
That's what I did. I unplugged the headset from the mic and I plug it into the laptop as per the best practices that we received from Riverside when we first signed up. And that got rid of the echo.
Interesting.
I know. Breaking news. I know. So that's why we did that. And because we forgot to hit record last week, Andrew's audio was awful. Really, really bad.
So for those who are wondering, because people have been asking some questions about the production stuff and also the ability, or not what the word is, but how my camera has changed in quality quite a lot. So originally I was using like a 720 webcam, two 720 webcams, and now I'm recording the main camera is now my iPhone, and then I just picked up the Elgato webcam, and it's a pretty nice webcam. You can adjust the ISO on it, so that's now my B cam is now the Elgato. So we'll see how this one turns out. Hopefully it's gonna work out. And then Andrew's still complaining about the video quality even through my iPhone, so I might have to invest back into the DSLR. I originally bought a DSLR, and I got so pissed off with how technical it was to set up and just like using it. And like, I don't know how to use all these features, and I got so frustrated with it, and I was like, I just returned it. I was really angry.
Well, dude, you're not. Oh, you actually returned it. You're not alone. You're not alone, man. When I picked up my Canon SL3, I was super intimidated. Watched some YouTube videos to learn how to use it. I still don't know how to use like 95% of the camera options, but
it's the software inside the camera that's so complicated. You know what I really think? I have a prediction. I want to put it out here. All right. We're recording this on April 18th of 2022. I'm making a prediction. I think actually by the end of this year, Apple is going to release a DSLR camera. And I think, to go further, this is my big theory, Apple is going to get into the film production quality cameras. So that way every movie is going to be filmed on an Apple computer, and they could take some brand recognition for every single movie made. So I think they're going to take over like what right now the film industry uses like Panasonic cameras and that sort of thing. So I think Apple.
Red.
Yeah. So I think Apple's going to take over the camera industry next. That's my prediction. I've done a little bit of research on this, but yeah. Go ahead.
I would never bet against Apple in any industry. I mean, there's a lot of talk that they're going to be rolling out a self-driving car and all kinds of new technology. And I mean, they already have a foot in the content creation space. Clearly, when you talk to any creative, almost in any industry, they're using a Mac, and all of their phones have fantastic cameras.
They just updated all these Macs to be, studio quality. They're all about video editing, all that kind of stuff. They're getting ready for these cameras. I'm telling you. Yeah. And also, they're really big on their phones, having the best cameras and the best lenses and all that kind of stuff. So when they end up having like, hey, you watch the next Marvel movie and it's filmed on an Apple camera. It's going to make the cameras on the iPhone feel and seem like they are the best in terms of getting a camera on your phone. They make the best cameras. Yeah. So that's my prediction. When I first thought of this, because when I was looking at this DSLR camera, I bought this Sony EV7, is that what it's called? I don't know. I did a lot of research on these, but anyways, I bought that camera and then I was like so excited about it. Then I started looking at like the software, trying to set it up, and I was like, this is like so archaic. It reminded me of the camera I had like 10 years ago, like a point and shoot camera, or 15 years ago, Yeah. And I was like, imagine if Apple made a camera. Then I was like, I wonder if they would. Then I did a little Googling, and people have been predicting this for a while. It's not like a really big, like not a lot of people predicting it, but there's a few videos out there of people talking about the potential of Apple making a real film camera. Yeah. So
I wouldn't bet against you. I think that's pretty accurate. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
I think that's a good show.
Cool.
All right.
All right.
So Matt, you seem to think that YouTube's $300,000 grant for podcasters might be a lie. Why don't you elaborate here for us?
So I started seeing some reports here. So we got one here on YouTube Finance. Here, I'm going to pull it up. There was a lot of this. Okay. You could just look up YouTube podcast grant, anything like that. And it says it's $300,000. And there's a lot of stories around this thing, comparing it to Spotify. And I think Amazon maybe had a grant. Is that what they're saying here? No. Yeah. Oh, it's like YouTube might be eager to compete against podcast hosts like Amazon, Apple, and Spotify. Bloomberg sources say YouTube is offering podcasters grants to produce videos, including film version of their show. Individual show creators would receive $50,000, while podcast networks would receive $200,000 to $300,000. So the podcast I see. If you're like a podcast network with lots of podcasts. So so this is all they use the words of like speculation, right? What's the word here they used? They said Bloomberg sources. Bloomberg sources. Yeah. So let's click over here on sources. Going over here. Oh, now we're on Bloomberg with the big ads. And then what was the words they used? According to the people. So the company is extending offers of $50,000 to individual shows and $200,000 to $300,000 to podcast networks, according to the people who asked not to be identified because the matter is private. So I saw a lot of these stories because I was looking into it because we're a podcast. Oh, you know what? In the last episode, I said that we were not a podcast, and you're
confusing our viewers.
I had multiple people message me and say, Matt, this is absolutely a podcast.
Did you? Did you really?
Yeah. Oh. So if you were laughing at it, because I previously discussed it with a few friends about how like this is not a podcast show, and they're like, and so we were laughing about it before, and so then they're like, Matt, you've got the headphones, you got the mic, and it's like you're talking, discussing things, so like it's a podcast. So
and to be fair, our clips are being posted on podcasts.
That's right. We do actually, do go on podcasts. But our original vision was that this is a YouTube show. So, but now I'm willing to accept that we have a podcast and a YouTube show.
Reluctantly.
Sorry. Let's go the other way around. We have a YouTube show and a podcast. But there's nothing wrong with podcasts. Yes. Like, I mean, I don't know.
No.
I don't know why. I'm not against podcasts.
No, there's not. Yeah. Oh hell no, it's popular, but I think what was ruffling your feathers, if I can call it that, was that you had these random people that you don't know, you don't have a relationship with. They were pinging you, hey, you want to interview me on your podcast?
The interview thing.
And like, that one got me. I think that's what put you off. We're still
not an interview show, and we will never interview you. Okay, we do want to have guests on the show to talk about some topics with us, but we will never interview anybody on this show. Anyway, so going back to the story on on this thing. So I was looking around. There's a lot of stories around this grant. And then when I actually looked, so YouTube actually has blog.youtube. Oh, they have blog.youtube. What the is that really their domain?
Yeah,
oh, it is too.
Yeah,
wow. So .youtube is a URL extension?
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Wow, I just noticed that. So yeah, URL extensions, you know, like a .com or whatever. So there's a lot of new ones. I did not know there was a .youtube. I wonder if you could buy that. Like can I buy like web-friendly.youtube?
I'm going to say no. I don't know. That's just,
I bet you could. Because I just found out like they have like .real estate and .realtor for the real estate industry. And I bought some domains there. It just came out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I got some big hitters there.
Well, that's your background. That's what you.
Yeah. Well, I'm doing some real estate marketing. Actually, I'll just tell you, I got presale.real estate.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, I think that's a legit domain. So get some leads from some presale real estate. You guys need some presale real estate. Soon enough, you can go hit up presale.real estate. It's not .com,
very cool,
right?
Yeah.
I have a story behind presalerealestate.com too, and I don't want to talk about it, but I'm very disappointed about the situation on that domain. But I had my hands around that one. Anyways,
are we saving that story for another time?
And we're never going to talk about that story. That's a personal story. The person who knows that story knows exactly what's going on there. Anyways, so YouTube has a place for press, and they always talk about funds and whatever they're doing. So you can see here they're introducing the YouTube Shorts fund. We talked about that on the last episode. So they always talk about this whenever there is going to be a fund. They talk about it. So what I think they did is put out completely fake news. So all the media starts talking about it, and podcasters like us are like, "Oh, we should start putting our videos on YouTube. There's going to be a fund." Oops, yeah. So I think it's a complete fake out. That's my prediction, is that this $300,000 grant for podcasts is a complete lie. And so it's interesting to be, there's another link here, youtube.com/creators/how-things-work/program initiatives. This is again, a bunch of grants and stuff that they do. And you can see there's all these different things that they're doing, nothing about podcasting. So they're just using the media and PR. So I think it was a little bit, hey, instead of actually giving away this money, let's just put rumors out there that we're going to give away this money.
Yeah, that's interesting. I agree that it's interesting that these people don't want to be identified. I mean, come on. If this, like, it is weird, right? It's super, super weird that this big announcement, and really in the eyes of YouTube, $300,000 isn't a lot of money, especially when, we got a couple more stories here that we're going to be talking about.
No, it's $300,000 like each, not like $300,000.
Oh, is that how it is? Oh, geez.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're saying to a podcast network, like a podcast network would be like NPR.
Yeah,
right.
Gotcha. Yeah. An established podcast.
Yeah.
Established.
They'd be like, here's $300,000. Start making videos, for your podcast.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
And then for someone like us, they'd give us like $50,000, which would be very nice, right? So
yeah,
that's what originally like piqued my interest. I was like, oh wow, you should be giving podcasters some money, so we'll call our show a podcast and get some money. But then I was like, this is totally fake. So yeah, that's it. That's my prediction there.
Yeah, the fact that they don't want to be identified, it's a little weird. And as long as we're on this subject, I want to flag this for everybody too, because I'm a big fan of ebooks, and recently listened to The Common Path to Uncommon Success by John Lee Dumas. I got it up on my screen here. I got the Audible version on my screen here because that's the version I listened to. And I don't know about you, but when I listen to an audiobook, I like knowing that I'm listening to the actual author.
Yeah. Like, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, and John Lee Dumas actually does read out his own book, which I appreciate, because a lot of these successful people will just pay a voice actor to do it for them, and I don't know, I don't enjoy the book as much. Anyways, I'm getting off subject here. So John Lee Dumas, for those who aren't aware, super successful podcaster, arguably was a trailblazer in the industry when podcasting was already popular. It was already a popular medium. And then he decided to publish a 20-minute podcast every single day, 7 days a week, because no podcaster was doing that. And so he found a way to uniquely carve himself out in an already crowded space, to the point where, and I learned all of this by listening to his book, to the point that after he was only podcasting for 1 year, he was already regarded to be a thought leader in the space. He was doing keynote speeches, being invited to all kinds of events, rubbing shoulders with Tim Ferriss and all of these other famous podcasters, right? Now, the reason why I'm flagging this for everybody, because he's a podcaster and he talks about different content mediums in his book. He talks about blogs, written blogs. He talks about YouTube. He talks about all the different ways that someone can establish a brand for themselves, right? And he actually boo-hoos YouTube. Oh. And this is where, this is where my ears perked up. And I'm like, John, I don't expect you to ever be watching this, but this is my thoughts.
I'm sending this to John.
Here are my thoughts, John.
Let's talk some
The thing that I want to flag here for you is that, and I'm like, Matt, have you listened to his podcast? It's Entrepreneurs on Fire. Have you listened to his podcast? Yeah. So you've come across his content. He does great work. He does great stuff. But his argument in his book is that podcasts have the unfair advantage over YouTube because you can listen to a podcast when you're doing something else, when you're driving your car, when you're walking the dog, when you're washing the dishes, what have you. It's I think Tony Robbins calls it net time, no extra time, right? You're consuming content while you're doing something else.
That's right.
And his argument was, well, you can't do that when you're watching a YouTube video. And I actually started laughing because so now I'm biased because I'm a YouTube expert. So I started laughing during the audiobook because here is this super, super successful guy who clearly knows a lot about marketing, but in my opinion, doesn't see the full value that YouTube delivers. Because if you are listening, so if you're watching Good Morning Marketers right now, you're watching and listening to me and Matt on YouTube, you're hearing the vocal tonality in our voices, you're looking at our body language, you're looking at our facial expressions, you're consuming video and audio, both, which greatly increases our ability to evoke an emotional response in from our viewers and our listeners, right? Because you're engaging more human sensory inputs. And with an audio only podcast, you don't have that. You don't have, so you're only working on a much more narrow spectrum of human communication, right? So that's my one argument. And then the other argument is probably quite obvious. Like when you could still listen to a YouTube video, right? You don't have to, you could still wash the dishes and listen to a YouTube video.
I want to point out, if you have YouTube Premium, you could even lock your phone and then use YouTube as like a podcast player. So you know, just get some YouTube
which
Premium.
I do.
I have it too. And I love YouTube Premium. I'm all about it.
Oh, yeah, and they had so much success with the picture-in-picture feature, so that you can continue.
It's gonna be free for everyone now.
Yeah. They're making it available for everybody, and I mean, I love that because as soon as I got Premium, I found myself using that feature a lot, like a ton, because you end up being a lot more productive with your time, and nobody wants to waste their time at the end of the day. But anyway, that's why I'm bringing this up though, because I just think it's fascinating that John Lee Dumas, a super successful, super famous podcaster, doesn't recognize the value that a video podcast would bring. I would argue, hey John, why don't we get your podcast or convert your podcast into a video podcast, and you'll blow up on YouTube. And then now you have that much more ability to reach and connect and impact that many more lives than if you were just an audio only podcast. Yes, it does complicate things. Now you're dealing with more equipment, more production, more post-production, all of that stuff. But if the benefits weren't worth it, then nobody would have a video podcast. And video podcasts are super popular. Look at Joe Rogan. Come on, he got crazy amounts of success on YouTube before he jumped ship.
I think it's because of YouTube that Joe Rogan got so big. It's the discoverability, right? When you're on a podcast, you could search for podcasts, I guess, to try to find stuff, but things don't pop up, right? There's not like a news feed or, that sort of thing. So it's we put out stuff on YouTube now that later, if one of these stories we cover starts trending, what if, all of a sudden, Forbes reports YouTube has been lying about the podcaster grant, and then we already have our video about this, and who knows, it could pop up in a few months from now. If it was on a podcast network, it wouldn't, right? So, to open up your camera and also just do video. I remember I was listening to the Marketing School podcast, Neil Patel, Eric Sue. I listen to that one a lot.
Right.
They do a daily one. It's very short. And I don't think they do YouTube. They might now. For a while, they were uploading just the audio. Yeah, check it out. They were uploading just the audio, but you couldn't see them. It was just the audio.
What's the name of the podcast? I haven't listened to it.
It's called Marketing School.
Marketing School.
Yeah, Marketing School. See, are they on video? Because I remember they were uploading it was just like a picture, and then it was just all you could do was hear it on YouTube. I was like, that's useless.
Well, okay, so I got it up on my screen here. They are on YouTube, but only less than 2,000 subscribers. And actually, let me go back.
So are they on camera?
They've published 700 videos. Good question. Let's find out. They've published 700 videos. And I'm going to... Oh, I'm not logged in as my main account here, so I got an ad. And no, that's why they're not on camera.
They're not on camera. See? Like, I think that's crazy. And then the other one, I listened to another one. It's called Blog Millionaire. And this guy has some really good content and lots of stats and data. And it's so hard to listen to it as an audio because it's so much information. And I would rather see it on video with some slides and because it's actually good. There's been times where like I'm listening to it and I was like, okay, I got to pause this because I got to get home. I have to take notes. Because he's like mentioning websites and data and you should do this. I'm like, this is really good information. I like to shout out. What's his name? Brandon something. But so what's funny about him is like, I don't even know what he looks like.
Blog Millionaire?
Yeah.
I just did a search. There's no YouTube channel for Blog Millionaire. That's super sad.
But I think he's got a pretty popular, I don't know how many downloads he gets. It's good content. And then he's got a blog called Blog Millionaire, I don't know, .com or whatever. But and I looked into it and like his podcast has great information, but then like I would love to get like an article that explains all that stuff because it's more that kind of content. It's so dense that I need to read it.
Oh, it's called The Blog Millionaire. Hold on. Let me see if there's an actual YouTube channel. He might have it linked. Oh, he's got one of those pages where it just scrolls and scrolls and
scrolls.
It's
a horrible blog. I don't get it. How he became a millionaire from blogging because that's a really bad blog too.
Yeah.
But I believe him that he'd be a millionaire because he seems to really know his stuff when it comes to blogging. But I just like, I don't know what he looks like. So let's say if I ever saw him from an event or something, like I cannot even really remember his name. I think if I heard his name, I would know it. I feel like his name is Brandon.
That's so sad. Brandon's comeback story.
It is Brandon. There we go.
But it doesn't say his last name there.
Huh.
There's like a super simple form for you to send him a message. That's really sad because ultimately at the end of the day, I mean, you and I are marketers. We get this. People resonate with people. So when you put yourself on camera, if you're not comfortable being on camera, do voiceover stuff, do audio only podcasts. It's better than nothing. But oh man, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Because people resonate with people. You
know what I want to do is we have a really good distribution system for our show, right? We don't have a large enough audience. Right now we're just figuring out post-production and distribution. That has been our goal for the last few episodes, right? Now I got the distribution down. And so now I want to get into, okay, how do we grow our audiences in those spaces? And if we didn't have video, the amount of distribution we could do would be so much more limited. We couldn't be putting videos here and images and, and so on. Right?
Agreed.
So if you're going to start a podcast, I mean, you got to do video. I don't know. I just think it's kind of, you're so limiting yourself without having that descripability that you get through video and all the stuff you could do with distribution and so on.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, if you're putting the effort in to do the audio, you might as well. The only time that maybe it might not make sense is if it's a little bit more scripted and you really want to get it perfect in terms of how you're saying things and that sort of thing. If I was scripting a show, an audio show, it'd be harder to do that with video because I got to edit the video and like that, I could see that. But besides that, I really think that you should do a video podcast.
Well,
and who knows, maybe one day we'll find out that YouTube was not lying and then maybe YouTube will give you 50 grand. YouTube.
Well, I mean, video does complicate things. I've already said that a couple times and your production costs and all of that stuff goes up. However, this is what I tell my clients all the time. Do you want to raise the bar to the point where your competitors are not willing to put in the work and the effort? So now you're appearing in the marketplace in a way that your competitors can't because you're showing up above and beyond. You're putting, ultimately, when you're shooting to for the top of the mountain, you're going to have a lot less competition. Okay. You're creating because video content is that wider moat. And because you're starting with the pillar content being the video content, this is total Gary V strategy now. Now you're getting into an area where, you can repurpose that video content in 12, 15, 20 different ways. Whereas if you're studying with audio only or a written blog, damn, you're really shooting yourself in the foot now because now it's going to be a whole lot harder to repurpose. And I mean, sorry, I gotta come back to this. Marketing School podcast. Neil Mattel's number one, most successful video on his YouTube channel was published 3 years ago and it's only got a little over 1,000 views. This is this is really bad because Neil Patel, and I don't know the other gentleman. Oh man, that's bad. I don't
Eric
know who that is, but
what's funny. So I've been listening to their podcast for quite
successful.
a while. Yeah, it's actually a really good podcast. So anyone in marketing, I would recommend it. Because it's like very short, bite sized. You know what they do is they record, I believe, like once a week, but they'll record a bunch of little segments, and they don't ever put out one long episode. It's just a bunch of little segments. They're all like 5 minutes, 8 minutes, like something like that. It's actually pretty good. It's all very topical, like, you know.
Oh, dude, I just realized something.
What?
Sorry to cut you off. Their most recent upload is 3 years old, so they've given up on this YouTube channel, I guess.
I thought they said they were doing it because what's funny is that at the start of the year they were talking about how they wanted to do all these things to promote the podcast. It actually ties into our next story. So, but anyways, they were talking about doing that, and I thought they said they were doing YouTube. And so, because when they were talking about all these different ideas they had to promote their podcast, take it to the next level, I think they mentioned YouTube, because to me it was like YouTube would be the most obvious one. Let's get on video, right?
Yeah, I just did another search. Yeah,
it's not there. Oh, interesting.
That channel I found is the only one. But yeah, we can move on.
Let's go to our next story. So YouTube was the originator of paying creators to create content. And then TikTok came along, and now TikTok started paying creators. And I think after everyone saw the success of TikTok paying creators, now it seems all the platforms are now offering money to creators. They want your content. It reminds me, 10 years ago, user-generated content was like a really big deal, right? To try to get your audience to create content, and then that would be kind of, you would promote your audience's content and so on. And it kind of reminds me of that. So I remember...
That's still a big deal.
It still is, yeah. Still, I mean, doing that is still an awesome strategy. So I just kind of learned about TikTok like a few months ago. I met someone who kind of explained to me, and I did not know that they were paying creators, because I saw a lot of people on TikTok that would have 100,000 followers like pretty quick, and I think my feeling is that that a lot of those followers are probably not real. I noticed there's a lot of users on TikTok that have like a weird username with a bunch of numbers at the end. Oh, so I think my conspiracy theory is that that makes creators feel like, wow, I have a lot of followers on TikTok, right? If I had 100,000 followers on TikTok, I'd be putting it everywhere. Oh, I got 100,000 followers on TikTok. I'm an influencer, right? So what I think TikTok does is that once someone starts building some traction, they just feed you fake followers to boost your numbers. Because I've seen, I see people just dancing around, you know what I mean? With like hundreds of thousands of followers. I'm like, this is the girls, just doing weird things, But at the end of the day, their whole model was paying creators. And I didn't know this. I just figured this out maybe like 3 months ago. And I was like, oh, interesting. Because I knew YouTube was doing this. I'm like, oh, so that's why TikTok got so big like that, right? So I got a story here. This is actually on a Hootsuite's blog. It says, is the TikTok Creator Fund worth it? Everything you need to know. So TikTok launched a Creator Fund in spring of 2021 with an initial investment of $200 million. But reviews for participants have been mixed. So I remember hearing stories about Mr. Beast said that he would get, X million of views and make very little money from that. I think you were telling me the story in one of our episodes. It says here.
I can't remember the numbers, but there are. I mean, it's a quick Google search away, I guess. There are stories of people generating millions of views and then making like $300, but millions of views on YouTube, you're doing quite well. Like it depends on the niche you're in. It depends the vertical, the kind of content, because marketers will spend more for that YouTube ad revenue. In certain industries, and in other industries, the marketers aren't willing to spend quite as much. So it's all about your CPM, your cost per milli, your cost per 1,000 views. And yeah, unfortunately, a view just isn't worth as much on TikTok as it is on YouTube.
Yeah, it's interesting because they're making money from ads, and what I think TikTok did is they invested a lot to have. To be a player in this social network platform, and people get really addicted to TikTok. They love it, the speed of it. I've never been like a really big TikTok user. I just started getting into it as we started uploading our stuff on TikTok and stuff. So I think TikTok is interesting because when Snapchat came around, I never felt Snapchat was going to stick. I never got into Snapchat.
Me too. Yeah. And I was looked at like an alien when I was like, I don't know about Snapchat, guys. Yeah. I think they're going away. And it's not like I had a crystal ball, because Instagram just totally took some of the features that were popular at Snapchat, and then bye-bye Snapchat. I don't like, does anybody even use it anymore?
Yeah, people still use it. There's people who really like it. I was just recently getting into it to try to figure out if it was worth us using it. But it seems to be more of like a messaging platform to keep in touch with your friends versus like a social network you're going to grow a lot of followers with.
Gotcha.
So that's where I think, especially with the younger crowd, it's almost like an alternative to WhatsApp. So when Zuckerberg offered to buy it, I'm pretty sure that's a real story. And I don't know what he offered. I can't remember. But I remember there was a story about him trying to buy it, and then they said no. So then he's like, okay, we'll just copy you. And that's when stories came to Instagram, and then all this other stuff is like, it was all these copying features, right? Everyone just kind of copied it, which is what made Snapchat really die down. But when it comes to TikTok, I think TikTok's here to stay.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think TikTok's going to stick around as the next social network. Like we got YouTube. I remember when Google was really trying to build their own social network, and they did Google Wave. They did Google Plus.
Google Plus, yeah.
I've never
used Google Plus. Have you ever used Google Plus?
Yeah, I signed up on Google Plus.
Have you?
I was excited, when Google Plus started. I was like, anytime there's a new social network, when you hop on it right away, you get a lot of followers because no one knows what's going on. Everyone just follows everyone. Yeah. Same with like Pinterest. So like Pinterest is, I don't get Pinterest still. I don't know, but I apparently a lot of females use Pinterest and shopping and I don't know, pinning. I don't know. Anyways, but like Pinterest is here to stay. We got YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, definitely, sticking around. And then Twitter, of course, right? And obviously Twitter is going through some interesting things right now. So I think TikTok is going to be here to stay. And whether or not this fund continues would be interesting to see. They're saying they want to increase their fund to $1 billion. But I think TikTok needs to figure out more monetization methods, because the way that the ads work right now is that you could skip any ad right away. So when you're swiping through and you see an ad, you could just swipe it. Yeah. So you don't really have to watch it. But then I also am seeing a lot of digital marketers now putting out programs and courses about TikTok advertising. So I haven't really dug into it, but I could see, like, as a creator, to, create ads with your content, drive people back to your page, and then have more content and then drives them to your various products and so on. I think there's definitely something there for TikTok. So it says here that the general consensus is that TikTok pays between 2 and 4 cents for every 1,000 views. Some quick math suggests that you might expect $20 to $40 after reaching 1 million views.
Ooh, ouch.
So that's
saying ouch. I'm saying ouch because one of my clients that I'm thinking of right now on YouTube generates 3.5 cents per view. So that's orders of magnitude, way more revenue than TikTok. Ouch. Ooh.
Yeah, okay. But Google is a more established network, and I think advertising on YouTube is probably, I'm going to guess, more effective than on TikTok. I don't know. But also TikTok can be really well as like a branding mechanism and also just building your audience. So, and also the ads might be cheaper. It might be a place right now to go and like double down on some TikTok ads to really grow your audience, right?
Well, and there's also the added point of you need to know where your target market exists. It's no secret that TikTok has a much younger demographic. So if you're in a vertical in an industry with a product or service where you need to target a younger demographic, then if I was your marketing advisor, I'd be pointing you towards TikTok. I'm not a TikTok expert, but I would be saying, like, listen, this is your product or service. You're clearly looking for a younger demographic. If you're looking to generate more results quickly, then you might want to put TikTok as the number one. I'm still a YouTube believer because YouTube has everybody, including the younger demographic. And again, if going back to what we were saying earlier, you could start making YouTube content that's your pillar content and then chop it up into sound bites that you would end up throwing up onto TikTok, right? That would be an option too.
That's what we're doing.
So, yeah.
So it says here, just so anyone who's interested in getting into TikTok, it says you need to have a pro account, it's free to have a pro account. You have to switch your account from, I don't know what you call personal to professional. You need to have at least 10,000 followers in order to join the Creator Fund. And then you need to have reached at least 100,000 views in the last 30 days. So that's how you become eligible to be part of the Creator Fund. So, if you're just doing it for fun, look, I know some people who just dance around. They got hundreds of thousands of followers, millions of views, whatever. You know, they made like $100, you know, but they're just having fun, you know, it's just whatever. I don't know anyone who's like, you know, really like creating a full-time living doing TikToks. I don't know. You know, it says here, conspiracy. Some users have claimed that their views have been cut by the algorithm since they signed up for the creator fund. Ooh, TikTok has denied this theory, explaining that the participants in the fund has no bearing on the algorithm. Others think view counts might seem lower because there are so many more fund recipients flooding the feed. Yeah, I did hear about that early on people were making way more money when TikTok was first announced this last year. And now it's a lot less. So,
and then it says under confusion, TikTok is super secretive about how they calculate payouts. The 2 to 4 cents rule is based on hearsay from users, as is just about everything else from the fund. That's not cool. That's not cool at all. Wow.
Yeah, not a lot of transparency there. So, and also, you know, China spying on you and stuff like that. Dun dun dun.
I was gonna say it. I wasn't gonna go there, but yeah, I got some developer friends, and they definitely told me to, you know, steer clear. So,
but I think a lot of people don't realize this thing. My theory around the fake accounts. So, if you get 100,000 followers on TikTok, you're gonna look really cool to all your friends and family. So,
because looking really cool is really important. It's the LCF, the look cool factor.
I think it is actually. I mean, you know, we're kind of joking here, but I actually think that looking cool online is actually very important. So if you do get a lot of followers there, that could be your ROI right there. So
there you go.
All right, moving on. Yep. All right, the next story. I think this is the coolest fund of them all. All right, this is the LinkedIn Creators Fund. I was shocked to find this. I actually found this when I was searching around some stories around Mr. Beast, and I saw something about Mr. Beast getting on LinkedIn. And I was like, why is Mr. Beast on LinkedIn? And then I kind of dug into it. So LinkedIn is investing into creators. And there's something actually even more cool about this. And I was actually going to ask Andrew to pull up your LinkedIn account to do this, because what I found out about this. So first of all, this is a $25 million investment into the business influencer space. So cool. LinkedIn, historically, they have, they opened up something that was called, is it called influencers? Where like you can get followers.
On LinkedIn? Yeah,
originally, if you want to like blog on LinkedIn, you had to be like, you had to have a certain amount of followers or something. I can't remember what they called it. I think it was called an influencer. And then I remember I have a lot of connections on LinkedIn. I got approved for it. And I was like, cool. So I started like blogging on LinkedIn, right? And then they show how many followers you have and that sort of thing, right? Now they have LinkedIn newsletters, which we have not used yet, but I think that's also really cool that you can actually, just like where you go to write a blog post. What do they call the LinkedIn? Can you check it out on LinkedIn? What do they call when you write?
Yeah, I was just trying to remind myself too. Actually.
Yeah, whatever they're called. Like you can like blog on LinkedIn. Okay, it's kind of like how you can blog on Medium or something like that.
It's a LinkedIn article. What do they call them?
I think they're just called articles.
Ray Dalio, his LinkedIn posts are famous, man. I
definitely. Yeah, he's one of those. Yeah, the bigger influencer types. So, but yeah, now you could actually create a newsletter through there, just like you would do with like Substack or something like that. So. It's cool. It's a really good. It's almost I see it as being similar to Medium.com, right?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I think it's just called a LinkedIn article. It gives you a headline. I'm sharing my screen here. No cover image uploaded because it gives you like I don't have an image here that I've uploaded, but it shows me as the author, and then right here, and you can include your images or video for visual impact, it says. But yeah, Ray Dalio's LinkedIn articles are famous, world famous. Yeah.
So it says here that the LinkedIn Creator Accelerator Program will invite 100 US-based creators to participate in a 10-week venture comprising coaching, a built-in network, opportunities to be featured on the official LinkedIn channels, and a $15,000 grant. So they are just, they're trying to find the right kind of people to get this thing started. So that way there's more creators creating business content on LinkedIn. I think this is really smart. But what was really cool when I was diving into this is I found out, I did not know about this before, is that you can actually make your profile a creator profile. And it makes your profile way better. And so, Andrew, I want to tell you that you should actually upgrade your profile. It is absolutely free.
I can do this?
Yeah. So there was a link somewhere in here. I don't know if you want to do it on your screen because it's very easy to do.
Okay, let's do it.
Let me just go to Google and type in like LinkedIn creator profile. So anyone on LinkedIn, I recommend doing this. What it does is, when you make a post on LinkedIn, if you look on your profile, you can never see the posts. Like you don't have like a newsfeed of your latest post on LinkedIn. It's weird. So
Yeah,
when
you have to go to activity and then like look at posts.
Yeah, it's weird. So when I made my profile a creator profile, then now my posts just show up on there. I assume it'll probably give me a little bit more reach in the algorithm because now I'm a creator and I'm also publishing content on a regular basis. So we're publishing clips from our show there. And so, notice when I went to your profile, because we actually, somebody, one of our managers posted the wrong clip with the wrong caption this one day. And so I was going to go to your profile and tell you, you got to delete this thing because it's all wrong, whatever. Oh, but then and I couldn't find it on your profile. It was like so hard. Yeah. So then, so I would recommend anyone on LinkedIn upgrade to a creator profile. It just makes your profile look better. It just says you're a creator somewhere on the profile. I'm going to open up my LinkedIn to show people what this looks like.
Okay, I found it. How to turn on creator mode. Creator mode is easily found in your profile dashboard and will be rolling out to all members over the coming month. Follow these steps to turn it on. Step 1, while viewing your profile, click creator mode off under your dashboard. Okay, where is that? Off under your dashboard, creator mode.
There was a link that I followed that went to it. All right, here it is. So it's members.linkedin.com/LinkedIn-creators-home. And then go to create.
Go create. Oh, this is interesting.
So you can see here, I'm going to open this up on my screen. You guys can see it here. It says you have short form post, images and videos. I mean, you already have that kind of stuff. Live video, document, the newsletter. I think the newsletter is a feature of the creators thing. I'm not sure about that. And then you get some analytics and stuff. You get more, you just unlock more features on LinkedIn. So I would say, even if you're not like a creator, but you're an active LinkedIn user, I think it's just worth doing this on your profile. Your profile ends up having some better features. So if you look at my profile here, when you see my activity, you can see these are all my latest posts. You can see we're posting clips from the show and so on. And if you look at Andrew's, I don't know if Andrew, you got your profile up, you can just show how you cannot see your posts on your profile. All right, guys, so we got it. So it's linkedin.com/in/whatever your username is. Then at the end of your username, type in /details/resources. It'll take you right there. You can turn on creator mode and it says get discovered, showcase content on your profile, and get access to creator tools.
Very cool.
So this is not necessarily going to give you money from this creator fund. So this creator fund is just getting started. It looks like they're really big in doing this in India because it says here that the Creator Accelerator program is 10 weeks. The other article said it was going to be in the US, but this one looks like it's in, like the copy at the top is in Indian. So who knows? But I think LinkedIn is a great place to get traffic. If anyone's ever run ads on LinkedIn, like they cost more, but the quality of the leads you get are way better. So I just think that it's a great place to.
That's true.
To get traffic. If everyone's ever done any sort of like you could call like cold emailing on LinkedIn, works really well.
Look at that, Matt. Thanks for the help there, Matt. Look at that. I show up to record an episode of Good Morning Marketers with you and just became a creator on LinkedIn. Learn something new every day. Thanks, man.
There you go, man.
Cool. Yeah. I'm excited to test this out actually some more later on today or tomorrow. I'm going to dive in there.
Yeah. Also got here Mr. Beast profile. He ain't really doing a whole bunch. He posted a week ago here. So if you go to linkedin.com/in/Mr-Beast, you can see Mr. Beast profile. Only 20,000 followers. He's like, ain't that big. So,
no, but
so we can try to like, let's try to like beat out Mr. Beast and say that we're bigger creators than Mr. Beast on LinkedIn.
I admit when you flagged this link though, I did start following him. I was like, no, I got to follow this guy.
His first post was like, he's like, I don't know what I'm doing here. Something like that.
you gotta love Jimmy, man. He's so authentic. Love it.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's LinkedIn. So yeah, just interesting that LinkedIn wants creators. If you are a business person creating business content, I would recommend starting to create on LinkedIn. We're going to start up our newsletter on LinkedIn as well. So there's a lot more I want to do on LinkedIn in terms of marketing, especially with the show and so on. So I think it's a great place.
Yeah, it's legitimate. Like, no joke, it's legitimate. My number one favorite platform is YouTube for obvious reasons, but my number two favorite platform is LinkedIn. It always has been, because I used to work as a social media expert, and I can tell you, when you're on both sides of that coin, LinkedIn, man, when it came to creating content and posting content, everything was formatted, whether it was like a YouTube link or something else. It was just, everything just works in LinkedIn, whereas I was always fixing problems on other platforms. And then as a user, I mean, I'm more and maybe, I don't know if you come across this, Matt, but I'm more receptive to people DMing me on LinkedIn than any other platform, because I know I'm dealing with a professional. I know they're using, most likely, a professional headshot. They're using their real name. I can see their resume. I can see their work history. And whereas like some of these other platforms, they got a picture of like an emoji or a cartoon character or something, and it's Blazer687, and it's like, I don't know who you are. Like this just doesn't, like, there's an imbalance here. I have my real name, my real face on these social media platforms, so I don't engage with people that are trying to hide their identity. I just find it really uncomfortable. So LinkedIn is awesome. Love it.
It's also like, as a business person, like, people are doing business on LinkedIn, right? Like, in terms of like where I've made the most money, I mean, I run a lot of ads on Facebook and stuff. So I mean, there is that aspect, but in terms of like not paid ads, just like networking and meeting people and so on, like, I could go on LinkedIn and spend a day there, and like, I can make sales. I can make money just messaging people, like building relationships, get on a call, whatever, right? When people do their automated emails and so on, and if anyone knows about that, like, there was actually a lawsuit in Europe around the usage of automating, sending, not in mail, but just sending messages on LinkedIn, and LinkedIn actually lost the lawsuit. They were trying to sue a company that was doing it, whatever, and because they lost, it opened it up. So now they don't like it, but you can just message people through these automated tools. I don't want to get too much into the technicalities of those. I don't like using any tool that requires you to put your login details into it, but you can just automate messaging people and just creating conversations. But when people do it to me, sometimes like I will actually reply to them and then engage in the conversation and try to reverse it. So I try to sell them instead of them trying to sell me. I've done that a few times and it's actually worked. But yeah, it's just like, there's been a lot, like sometimes I open up my LinkedIn, I got a whole bunch of messages. I'm like, holy crap. Like there was like a lot of business in there and I didn't check it for a long time. So definitely pay attention to LinkedIn.
You just reminded me, I haven't shared this with you before. So somehow I got on HubSpot's contact list. Somehow, I think I used their free email signature generator, which is actually pretty slick. Totally recommend it. I like it. I like their email, and it's a free tool, and they use it as a lead magnet, whatever. And so I ended up on one of their salesperson's contact lists, and she kept emailing me over and over again. And I was like, hey, listen, thanks very much for the offer. Just, not interested, blah, blah, blah. But then because of what I do for a living, I'm like, I wonder what their YouTube channel is up to. And I checked out their YouTube channel, and so I responded to her. I was like, hey, just so you know, like I ran a little competitive analysis for you guys, and saw some wrinkles in your YouTube marketing approach. So in case you guys are interested in having a conversation, so I just like you just said, I just kind of flipped the script, and I was like, well, I might as well go into sales mode here and see if they have any interest in improving their YouTube game, because they're a professional marketing CRM, and maybe they're going to want to improve their YouTube strategy. But and she did respond. To be fair, she did respond. She was like, I wouldn't even know who to introduce you to, Andrew. I'm so sorry. And I've never heard from her since.
Yeah,
she's never reached out to me ever again, which makes me laugh.
I did the same thing. I do a lot of like conversion rate optimization on funnels. So someone was like trying to like send me a link to go to their funnel, and then I did like a little like 4-minute like analysis of the funnel. Like I'm like, yeah, if you want some help, they're like, oh, thanks, And so I've actually had some calls because of doing that. But yeah, if you guys use like Loom, I use like Barrycast. You can just record your screen really quick, send them a link. So
that's what I do too. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, lots going on there. But yeah, so if you are a creator, you could like write your blog posts, you could upload your videos, you can create a newsletter. There's a lot of stuff that you could do with LinkedIn, and maybe they're going to open up this creator fund a little bit more, and who knows? Because it's obviously working for TikTok, it's working for YouTube, and you can see all these platforms are offering creators some money. So the next story here is around Facebook, aka Meta. And their $1 billion fund for creators. So they would love to buy TikTok and they can't. So they are competing by offering more money. So I know that they had a thing where if you had your watermark, your TikTok watermark in your video, they would like demote it. And they just recently, not that recently, but they started Reels, Instagram Reels. And I actually just saw someone post some stats about how much visibility he was getting from posts directly on his page, videos directly on his page, IGTV, and then Reels. And Reels was like 10 times the visibility. And he was basically like, yeah. And he was like, basically like, if you're going to do Instagram, just focus on Reels. But what's funny about Reels is that if you use Creator Studio or Business Suite in order for scheduling your content, any social media managers might know about this, you cannot schedule your Reels through Creator Studio or Business Suite, but you can schedule your Reels in the Instagram app. So that was been our, we haven't been uploading our stories as Reels yet because of that limitation and just trying to be effective with our time in scheduling thing. But now that I saw those stats around how much more visibility Reels are getting, I'm going to go all in on the Reels. So they got a $1 billion fund for creators. I got it here up on my screen. And again, this is right from, in this case, I'm on business.instagram.com. And so, all these platforms, they always have like a place where they put out press releases whenever they're like, put out these funds, right? So that's how you can find out about some of these funds. So it says by the end of 2022, we plan to invest over $1 billion in programs that give creators new ways to earn money for the content they create on Facebook and Instagram. From artists to style experts and budding entertainers, creators drive so much of the passion and creativity we see across our apps. We want to copy TikTok. So they got live audio rooms. Oh, dude, I heard that they were actually they have this feature where you can like connect your podcast to your Facebook page. And I tried it and it looks like crap when you do it. It like, I ended up putting it in and I noticed that every time we upload it just like puts out like a crappy looking post. It was a really bad implementation of podcasts on Facebook, but I heard they're taking it away, which was pretty quick, but it's like, they didn't even do it properly. Like, it was such a bad implementation. So I actually don't know about live audio rooms. I didn't even know that they had that. I noticed that on Twitter, which I wouldn't mind talking about Twitter a little bit. They had a really cool feature on audio rooms. So,
well, I just clicked on that link, but this was published back in June 21st. And you were saying that feature was brand new, weren't you?
No, sorry. I was thinking about the podcast feature that wasn't there, but this is live audio room, which is a copy of what's it called?
Clubhouse.
Yeah, Clubhouse. They were copying Clubhouse. Yeah. So, and I think Clubhouse got an offer.
Oh, did really? Twitter, I think Twitter just copied them. Now,
everyone copied them. Yeah. So the guy or whatever it was that had it, like he should have sold it because it was banging during COVID lockdowns. People were really getting on there.
Oh,
right?
big time.
But I think he got a pretty big offer, and he was like, "Oh, I'm going to build the next social network." Like I would just sell, man. You get $1 billion.
Is it still doing well though? Because I feel like ever since Twitter copied, it kind of went off a cliff. Yeah, because Twitter already had the users.
I would love to talk about Twitter actually after this one because I have some new insights on Twitter. So they also have Bulletin, a platform for independent writers. I did not even know about Bulletin.
Yeah, me too.
Discover fresh voices, tune into blah, blah, blah. So I guess this is like blogging on, is that what this is? Dude, I did not even know.
A platform for independent writers.
Yeah.
So this is like their version of Medium. Is that right?
Yeah. I didn't know.
Which makes sense because Medium was created by Twitter people. So it makes sense that Facebook would, or Meta would. Yeah. Yeah, interesting.
So where can I find Bulletin articles and podcasts? So Bulletin articles and podcasts can be found on individual creator publication pages. Interesting. I did not know about Bulletin. So yeah, they also have like, it's not even in here, but what is, they got stars. What stars? Creators So I'm on facebook.com/creator/tools/stars. And I guess this is it's kind of like giving like little gifts or whatever you want to call it to like you buy, I guess you would buy some stars you can give out. And then
like a reward.
Introducing affiliates and new shop. Yeah, I know. So when they have like Instagram shop, you could be an affiliate. I know about that. I also noticed it's not even in here, but they have Facebook instant articles. And instant articles are mobile only links to your content. It's very similar to Google AMP, where it's just like a mobile version of your article.
Oh yeah.
And then there's ads in there, which works kind of like Google AdSense. And you have to have, I think, like 100,000 visitors a month in order to be qualified for that. But then when you open a link with instant articles on Facebook, there's a little lightning bolt next to it. So when you're on the app and you see a little lightning bolt next to the link, when you open it, it'll open like immediately. Where normally when you click on a link, it takes 10 seconds to load. Instant articles is a really good feature too, which is another way that I guess, publishers can get paid, which is not even in this this article. I guess this is some new features they're talking about. So they got, they're talking about here like badges, stars, IGTV ads, in-stream video ads, reels, right? So there's a whole bunch of new features. It's interesting where they'll roll out these features and then take them away. So here we go. We got in-stream ads, IGTV ads, badges, stars, fan subscriptions. I remember that one. That was for Instagram. Paid online events. That's interesting too. Branded content, affiliate stuff or Google Shopping, and then they got creator shopping tools. It's getting messy, man. There's like a lot of...
you just took the words right out of my mouth, man. It's getting messy, but I mean, the one positive that we can call out of all of this news that we're highlighting is the fact that these platforms are working their butts off to make sure creators receive compensation for the content that they create. And so I love seeing that direction, but it's, things are getting pretty messy. There's no denying that.
It is like the way you manage Facebook pages now, where they have Creator Studio, they have Business Suite, depending on your page type. So I have like one of my pages is set up as like a personal brand, like my Matt Astifan digital page is personal. So I notice when I go there, it makes me want to use, it like forces me to use Facebook as the page. But when I'm on the web-friendly Facebook page and that's set up as like a brand, then it's like I'm just myself and I'm looking at it and I can see my stats and whatever. It's just so confusing. The whole experience is like you really have to really know. Like for me, I've been on Facebook for a long time. I taught Facebook, so I've seen the evolution of the pages and so on. So I'm able to kind of figure out what's going on. But even just trying to like fix it and switch it and like, like when you use like Business Suite versus Creator Studio, I don't want to get into the nuances, but there's a reason to use both, and it's like, what the going on with both of these things? So it's getting really messy. And I think Zuckerberg needs to come in and just be like, yo guys, like, let's clean this up because it's getting way too confusing for people to figure this out. And, I
need to say something on this here too, because I used to work in social media, not to the same capacity that you have, but I worked for an American tech startup company as their social media manager, and I've definitely had some time in that space, and I got the sense that a lot of people just kind of boo-hoo that side of things of marketing, unfortunately. And I mean, not everybody, but some people certainly spoke as if, it's social media. Let's just get a free intern in here to do it like a few hours a day. And it just boggles the mind every single time I hear someone speak like that about social media, because you just hit it on the head right there. The interfaces are constantly changing. Every platform has a completely different interface. You legitimately, if you want to be in business and you want to deploy social media marketing, you legitimately need to hire a full-time team member or outsource it to an agency, or you have to task someone who lives and breathes this stuff. You literally need people that live and breathe this stuff. I'm sorry, but the days of like bringing in like some free intern to do it for a couple hours a day, long gone. And if you go that route, your social media is going to look like garbage. Yeah.
So we've been having the challenge when we were setting up our distribution channels for this. We've gone through a few social media managers, and I just noticed like they're making a lot of mistakes. So like as I said, like last week they uploaded a video with the caption for like a different video and like the wrong thumbnails, and like I'm just like, oh my god, because there's like a lot of but we have everything really like step-by-step processes, but easy to mess it up. But really quick, before we go on to our last story, I just want to mention this is around Twitter Blue. So I think this is interesting because Twitter is moving towards a paid subscription, so that way users are paying to use it. And I actually think that this is awesome. So if they can get people paying to use Twitter, it's going to get rid of a lot of the spam and all the even all the censorship stuff that's going on. If people have a real identity and it's tied to, they're paying for it, they don't want to lose their accounts. Plus, like, they're a real person, they got like their credit card associated to their account. It's like $3 a month, $3.50 or something like that.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it unlocks some other features. We don't have to go through all the features. You guys can go check it out. I got the article open here, but just Google Twitter Blue and you'll see it. But one thing that was interesting actually for us, Andrew, is that I noticed that there's a feature there where you could see the top stories for everybody you follow. So we were trying to figure out a way to find trending stories and so on. And I figured out so cool. This was the way. So what I actually ended up doing is I don't know if I should mention, but like I unfollowed a whole bunch of people on my Twitter so that way I can clean it up so I could use this. So I just did that on the web friendly account. So now I paid for Twitter Blue, and I'm also curious to see if we're going to get more reach from Twitter Blue. So I'll report back on the show because I just did this yesterday, and I'm curious now to see if our reach is going to go up, which would be interesting. So
Very
yes,
cool.
$3.50 Canadian.
I see that
here. Some cool features, there's like a tip jar if you look in like pay you tips and stuff like that, I guess. There's an undo button.
It's not an edit button. This is a great feature. This is a great move by Twitter, and I would totally sign up for this.
Okay, so I got a question for you here. Here's my thought. If Facebook, so I find Facebook now, I've got like 4,000 friends on Facebook. I open up Facebook. It's very toxic. A lot of people I don't even know just talking a bunch of random stuff, right? And I don't enjoy Facebook. Like I get on there, I'm like, I gotta get this off. Like I deleted the Facebook app off my phone for like 2 years, right? I just put it back on like a few months ago. I was off Facebook for a long time because I was like, it was just garbage, right? But I was thinking if they had a paid subscription, I would then know who's active and who wants to be there. Right. And if I could sort my feed by my friends who are paying to be on Facebook, and I think the content would be way better. So I was thinking if they move to a paid service where there's no ads, right? Maybe you get a bit more flexibility. Maybe they'll call it less censorship or something like, I don't know, something like that. There could be other features they can include in it. Right. But how much do you think people would pay? I feel like Facebook is a friend relationship system. You have like a CRM, customer relationship system. I think Facebook is like a friend relationship system. So how much do you think that they could charge for Facebook? What would you pay?
This is a really great subject. So I'm already paying $15 a month Canadian for YouTube Premium. It looks like, and Twitter is now targeting $3.50 for Twitter Blue, Canadian currency we're talking about here. I don't know. I'm like, I would probably consider like $10 a month. I'd like split the difference. Because I wouldn't spend $15 a month because I spend way less time on Facebook than I do on YouTube. YouTube Premium is easily worth $15 to me because I spend so much time on that platform. But Facebook, I'd say $7 to $10. I would be like, yeah, sign me up.
No problem. I was thinking I would pay like $20.
Oh yeah,
but yeah, 7 to 10 because most people wouldn't like a personal, and also they could base it on your age, stuff like that, right? But then it could be like $20 for a business, and you could have a certain amount of pages on there. And like imagine I could just pay to have one of my pages, and then it also kind of gives me a bit more reach. If they just said for $20 a month, we'll give you a little bit more reach, I'd be like, sure, I'll try it out. Yeah, right. So I think that if Facebook moved to a paid model and then somehow addressed this idea of the algorithm, censorship, whatever, that sort of stuff. And if I could just sort my feed by people who paid for it, I feel like I would get better content. Like I think there's something there that if Facebook moved to a paid model, I think it would just transform Facebook. I think it would bring it back because right now Facebook is dying. Like Twitter died over the last few years. Twitter's really died, but now it's coming back for so many reasons, right? The Elon Musk thing, and it's been coming back, right? Like I think Trump is kind of what brought it back and people getting more active on there. So now I'm like back on Twitter. I'm like, it reminds me of what it was like back in 2009 where there was real conversations because there was a long time where people were it was just a bunch of bots. And we're just spewing crap. all the time.
And there's still a lot of spams. Lots of spammy stuff on there. Yeah, scams is what I meant to say, actually. Scam.
Yeah.
Like there's Twitter scams all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah, but like I think it was like 2016-ish, 2015, like in that kind of time period where like Twitter was useless, you know? And now I think it's making a comeback, and I think the idea of Twitter Blue can really help. So I'm very interested. And then I saw when I signed up for Twitter Blue, I started noticing people doing these spaces, and you could actually get paid to host your own audio space.
Yeah.
So there were some things around it, like you had to host 3, and then you had to had a certain amount of people on it. It was something like that. There were some things, but then after some time, you can actually get paid to host an audio space. So I definitely want to do it because I think it would be interesting just to have a little mastermind around marketing. So if you guys listening want to do something like that, you know, go follow the Web Friendly Twitter account, because I'm definitely going to do that. So yeah, I just think this is really cool, and I'm hoping that more platforms will follow along, so that way they're less ad driven.
And it is, yes, 100%. And it's funny how you just said that you've got what you said, over 4,000 Facebook friends, and you've just noticed that the platform as a whole has become quite toxic. I'm not making this up. Before hitting the record today, making this episode with you, I responded to a Facebook post that I saw the person complaining about inflation, governments, businesses, the price of everything going up and stuff, and I commented, and it turned into a little bit of a back and forth, and then I did like one last comment, and I left the conversation because I could tell it was going to like a really unhealthy place, and I didn't want to put myself in like a negative headspace before hitting the record button with you here today, Matt. But it's unfortunate that there are so many people on Facebook that it has become a very toxic place. It just has, and that's unfortunate. And I try my very best to really cultivate what kind of content that I'm consuming and participating in, because I want to protect my mindset, right? I always think about that stuff, and I want to surround myself with positive people. That's one of the reasons why I like the idea of co-hosting the show with you. I find you to be a very positive guy there, Matt, and I want to surround myself with more positive people. And man, Facebook. I couldn't agree with you more. Facebook has turned into a really, really political and negative Nancy kind of place. It's really hard. It's just terrible. It's terrible. People just want to fight with each other all the time. They just want to complain and moan and whine, and it's like, who's got time for that?
But people are still using it, right? Like I do think that they need to go through a transformation, and it's definitely down right now in terms of, you know, people wanting it. And like Mark Zuckerberg has a horrible personal brand, and
yeah,
there's definitely something there. I think if they did paid accounts, I think that they could really transform it.
Yeah, agreed.
Next story. This is our last story. So this is funny, guys. So Andrew was really scared to talk about this. So
Andrew,
you want to talk about your fears around OnlyFans? So OnlyFans opens creator fund contest for aspiring fashionistas. So Andrew saw that, and he was like, okay, these fashionistas are probably getting naked. And he's like, I don't want to talk about this, Matt.
Matt's calling me out, and I expected him to, because I was a little nervous when I saw this story show up on the to talk about list. I was thinking, Matt, I don't know about this one, man. I don't know if we should be talking about this. And then no, Matt broke it down for me. And I think this is a fascinating story. I legitimately do, because OnlyFans, the way I haven't really gone deep in this story, but my understanding is that OnlyFans is working to kind of go through a bit of a rebrand, and can I say this? Almost legitimize more of their platform and attract more of the content creator economy, which is super important. This is any content creator. I can fully back and support anyone who is a content creator and trying to make a go of their career. Right? I can totally back that up.
Right. So last year, OnlyFans awarded $20,000 to each person. There was 4 musicians, so it was a musician-based fund. And it says here the financial support came through the subscriptions platform's Creator Fund, which is now coming stateside. I don't know what that means, stateside.
Yeah, because it used to be in the UK, and now it's coming to the US.
Oh, I see. Okay, so OnlyFans has recruited some notable names in the style world to serve as judges and mentors for the new fashion edition, which will spend $100,000 on 3 winners. So I got the landing page. It's start.onlyfans.com/creative fund, not creator fund, creative fund. So they're trying to attract people in the fashion space. So my understanding of this is that OnlyFans was having some issues with like payment processing because of the pornographic nature of OnlyFans, and they were trying to move away from doing sexually explicit content into, you know, some more other types of content. So that's why they did the thing with musicians. Now they're doing this thing with people in fashion. So I don't know what it ends up looking like with like what kind of content you're looking at in terms of fashion stuff. Are they going to take off the clothes after? I don't know. So, but the point is here is that OnlyFans is trying to transition away from adult content. So I think it's cool that they have that brand of that sexually explicit sort of history, but then moving into other realms that can also be sexy, right? And I think that that will put them into a unique position. So it's just another place you could look at if you are a creator, you're in the fashion space. I think this is an interesting one because you could be competing inside here and maybe win, but also they're probably going to give you. I don't use OnlyFans. I don't, is there like a news feed? Can you get some exposure? I don't. I think you. I know you were scared just to talk about this, so
I know what it is. I've never used it, so like that's the other thing too. I'm like, how do I talk about that? But like the designer Mauve Riley, I don't know if I'm saying Maeve. Am I saying her name right? So her quote here is, "The OnlyFans Creative Fund is a great opportunity for those looking to jump into a fashion-related career. It gives contestants an opportunity to showcase their work and get advice from people that they might not be able to reach otherwise. Like Law, Sir John, and me. I'm excited to see what the finalists bring to the table." So, I'm not a fashion. I don't know if you know this about me, Matt, but I'm not really into fashion. Not really. Do you notice that
I wear the same thing every day, man? So I figured it out once and then it was done.
Yeah,
so
I pretty much wear like workout clothing every day because it doesn't wrinkle. That's my fashion tip of the.
Me too.
My fashion tip of the day.
So I used to do the t-shirt thing. I went to the polo so that way I have like it's a little bit more businessy, but it's also dry fit, so it doesn't wrinkle and I don't get hot. Yeah.
So we're kind of like the blind leading the blind, talking about this fashion industry news over here.
Well, what I think that they're going to do is continue to go into different niches, right? So they did music, then they're going to do fashion. And maybe they'll do like, who knows, makeup or, something like that. But I think they're just trying to get more creators on the platform that are not going to be pornographic, sexually explicit, that sort of thing. I never really understood the whole idea of like the paying for the OnlyFans stuff. Like it just kind of like, but I know there's like a whole industry of like, guys, I guess, paying girls for weird things, but... Or guys or girls paying guys. I don't know.
But I'm sure there's a space for both sides. But it has. Yeah. Like I don't know the numbers, but I'm sure it's blown up. I mean, it's the world that we live in, right? And I mean, look at TikTok, look at Instagram, look at all of that. And OnlyFans basically came out and just took it to that next step, that next level up. But now it looks like they're trying to go through kind of a rebranding, almost. Reevaluating how they want people interacting with their platform. And I mean, I really do support any move in helping content creators create revenue for themselves. The world is a funny place. The world is a scary place. And anytime you can empower people with taking more control over and creating additional revenue streams in their lives, I'm a huge supporter behind that. Huge supporter.
Look at this on their landing page. It says they have 180 million users, 2 million creators, and they paid out over $5 billion.
Is that what it says? Oh, geez.
Yeah. Damn. I'm on start.onlyfans.com.
That's some.
And I just saw that.
That's some big numbers. So what you're saying is we need to get our own OnlyFans account, Matt? Do we need to do that? I think
it would be. I wonder what would happen. I don't know. I never used it. Never signed up. But that would be interesting if we just like tease people for a long time. Be like, one day these shirts are coming off. Keep subscribing, guys.
Yeah. All right. It might be more valuable if we say, that we'll keep the shirts on, and then maybe we'll actually get more subscribers that way. might be more feasible for us in that direction. Yeah.
All right. So we teased in the last episode that we wanted to talk about Ahrefs and SEMrush and the beef they got going. But now I think that we just got to keep everyone on the hook here because we're going a little over time here, and I think we got to push the story back again until next week. But there is some fun stuff going on between Ahrefs and it's actually not SEMrush. I actually learned recently it's called SEMrush. I always called it SEMrush, but they're called SEMrush.
Oh, I've been doing the same as you.
SEMrush is a better name, but
news to me.
It seems like Ahrefs. Like, what kind of name is that?
Yeah,
Ahrefs. Yeah. It refers to I can't.
And that's an interesting story you found there. So like, stay tuned to the next episode because honestly,
guys, please,
that's going to be
subscribe.
That's going to be
subscribe because
that's going to be a good one.
Really good. Yeah, it's going to be better than this OnlyFans thing because it's going to be a really, really fun story. So that's it, guys. Subscribe wherever you're listening. Follow us on Twitter. Some cool things are going to happen on Twitter. Okay, twitter.com/webfriendly. I'm going to start hosting some audio rooms where we can kind of mastermind, talk about some marketing for creators. And other things as well. And I'll also report back to you what happens now that I signed up for Twitter Blue. I'll let you know. I'm going to look at my analytics and tell you if our reach went up or what happened.
Can't wait to hear.
Okay, awesome, guys. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.